Good evening, everyone. This is Abhishek Chinchalkar. The agenda for today's webinar is to introduce the MACD indicator and discuss several trading strategies that you could perform using the MACD indicator. So without any further ado, let us get started. Briefly talking about me, my name is Abhishek Chinchalkar. As I said, I am the head of education at FIRES, and I lead the education initiative at FIRES. I actively contribute to our portal that is called FIRES School of Stocks, which is an online stock market education and learning portal. From an education credentials perspective, I'm an active CMT charter holder, and I've also completed my executive MBA from SPJN School of Global Management, Mumbai. Briefly speaking about my work experience, I have an experience spanning over a decade in the financial markets, having worked across asset classes, that is equities, commodities, and currencies research. My primary forte lies in technical analysis and intermarket linkages. So that's a brief about me. So as you can see over here, this is our portal that's called School of Stocks. I've shared the URL of the portal over here. So for those of you who are unaware of what FIRES School of Stocks is, it is, as I said, it is an online stock market education portal wherein we have covered various aspects of financial markets module wise. So far, we have fully completed 9 modules, as you can see in this screen. The 10th module, which is on risk management, is currently ongoing and will come up with several modules. Our objective here is to promote financial literacy across India and other parts of the world, primarily India. So I've actively contribute to the FIRES School of Stocks. I write several chapters module wise. So if you're interested in learning about financial markets, then I would highly recommend you visit our FIRES School of Stocks portal. You could either Google FIRES School of Stocks, or you could type in this URL directly. So with that, let us get started with today's agenda, which is MACD. So let us start with briefly talking about the history of MACD. The MACD indicator stands for Moving Average Convergence Divergence. It is an indicator that was developed in the late 1970s by one of the most renowned technicians that the world has ever seen, Gerald Apple. The MACD indicator is well over 4 decades old now, but despite being more than 4 decades old, the MACD indicator is still one of the most popular and widely used technical indicators in the world. Most of the trading platforms that I have seen do have MACD indicator in their study library. So it's one of the most followed and most used technical indicators that you will ever come across. What is the MACD indicator? Okay, so let me give you a gist of what MACD indicator is. The MACD indicator is a momentum or a velocity based indicator. The objective of MACD indicator is twofold. Number one is to identify what the trend of a security is. And number two is to identify what the momentum of that trend is. So what MACD does is it helps you understand what the prevailing trend of the security is. And not only that, it also helps you understand what is the momentum of the prevailing trend, whether the prevailing trend is strengthening or whether it is flattening or whether it is weakening. MACD will help you in understanding this. The MACD indicator, especially the MACD line, as you later see, it comprises of 2 moving averages merged into a single line. One thing that you need to keep in mind about the MACD indicator is that it is a lagging indicator. Now, if you have used moving averages in your analysis, you will know that moving averages is based on historical prices, So moving average is a lagging indicator because it is based on historical prices. And because MACD is an indicator that is constructed from moving averages, it naturally follows that the signals that would be generated by MACD would be lagging. So they tend to, the signals come to, the signals are indicated by the indicator with a little bit of lag. Now, if you use moving indicators, you might be aware that there are several types of moving averages that are used by technicians. The three most popular moving averages that are used in the world is simple, weighted, and exponential moving average. Now, one thing that you need to keep in mind is that the MACD is based on exponential moving average and not simple moving average. So you need to keep this in mind. If you want to know what a simple moving average and an exponential moving average is, and if you want to understand how it is calculated, we have explained that aspect in great detail in our FIRE School of Stocks within the technical analysis module. So you could refer to it in case you are interested in learning about how a simple moving average is calculated and how an exponential moving average is calculated. But just to give you a gist, a simple moving average is an average which assigns equal weight to all the data that is being plotted. So if you are using a 10-day simple moving average, each of the past 10 days will be assigned an equal weight, that is 1/10 or 1/10. On the other hand, if you're using an exponential moving average, the more recent data will be assigned a greater weight, while older data will be assigned lesser weight. So what is the difference between these two? Well, put it in simple words. In simple moving average, because equal weight is assigned to all the data, the signal that is generated would be slightly lagging. On the other hand, in case of an exponential moving average, because a greater weight would be assigned to more recent data, an exponential moving average will react rather quickly to changes in the recent price than a simple moving average would. So long story cut short, exponential moving average is more responsive to price than a simple moving average is. So that is a brief description, a brief differentiation between simple and exponential moving average. Again, as I've said, if you want to learn about simple and exponential moving average in greater detail, including how they are calculated, you could visit the FIRE School of Stocks. Now, this is how a moving average is typically plotted on the chart. As you can see over here, moving averages are plotted on the price itself rather than being plotted in a separate window or in a separate panel. Now over here, I've shown you two moving averages. Again, throughout this PPT, I'll be talking about exponential moving average or EMA for the simple reason that EMA is what is used in moving average convergence divergence, that is MACD. So whenever I talk about moving average, I'll be referring to exponential moving average in this presentation. So coming back, as you can see, there are two moving averages in this particular chart. One is the yellow colored moving average, which is the shorter period 12-day moving average, while the other is the longer period, the 26-day moving average. Now, as you can see, the shorter moving average tends to be more sensitive to price changes than the longer moving average. So as you can see from here, see that shorter moving average tends to respond more quickly to price changes than the longer moving average does. Now, what are the basic signals in moving average? Well, when a shorter moving average crosses above the longer moving average, it is a bullish signal. As long as the shorter moving average is above the longer moving average, it is bullish. On the other hand, when the shorter moving average crosses below the longer moving average, it is a bearish signal. So as you can see in this particular chart, the shorter moving average, the yellow line crossed above the longer moving average, which is the blue line over here. And throughout this entire rally, the yellow line stayed above the blue line. The bearish crossover happened over here when the yellow line fell below the blue line. So from a simplest perspective, a basic buy signal is generated when the shorter moving average crosses above the longer moving average, and a basic sell signal is generated when a shorter moving average crosses below the longer moving average. So this is how you would have used moving average until now. And this is how moving average is typically displayed on the chart. This is the traditional way of plotting a moving average. Now, let us talk briefly about how the MACD indicator is constructed. So again, this is the same chart that we saw earlier, with the only differentiation that the MACD indicator has been plotted along with the price. So on the top panel, you will see the price along with the two moving averages, the 12 and 26 period moving average. While in the bottom panel, you will see the MACD indicator. This is the MACD indicator. As you can see, the MACD indicator comprises of three components. One is the yellow line, which is called the MACD line. Next is the signal line, which is the red line over here. And finally, you have these vertical bars that fluctuate above and below zero. These are called histogram. So zero is the center point for the MACD indicator. So all the three components of the MACD indicator, that is the MACD line, the signal line, and the histogram, fluctuate above and below zero. So they keep swinging above and below zero. And that tells you a lot about the trend of the security as well as about the velocity of the security. So this is how the MACD line, this is how the MACD indicator is plotted on a chart. It is plotted in a separate panel. You can either plot it below the price or you can plot it above the price as well, as depending on your preference and convenience. I typically plot it below the price, and that is how most of the charting platforms will put the indicator when you initially plot it. Now, as I said towards the start of this presentation, the MACD indicator merges two moving averages into one. So this MACD line you see in the bottom panel, which is this yellow line, what it does is it merges these two moving averages into one. Now, how does the merging happen? Well, that is what I'll explain in the next slide. So we'll talk about each of the three components of MACD indicator, that is MACD line, signal line, and histogram. So let us start with MACD line. Now, as I said, the MACD line merges two moving averages into one, into a single line. How does it do that? By calculating difference between the two moving averages. So the formula for MACD line is nothing but the shorter moving average, which in case of the previous chart was the 12 period moving average, minus the longer moving average, which in the previous chart was the 26 period moving average. So MACD line is nothing but the shorter EMA minus the longer EMA. Now, speaking from a maths perspective, if this value is positive, if the MACD line is positive, that is, if MACD line is above zero, then it tells you that the shorter EMA is greater than the longer EMA, or put it in other words, the shorter EMA is above the longer EMA. Now, what does this imply? I'll talk about later. But for now, just keep in mind that whenever this MACD line, whenever this value is positive, it tells you that the shorter EMA is above the longer EMA. Similarly, if this value is negative, it tells you that the shorter EMA is less than or below the longer EMA. So, a simple maths is in play over here. Coming back to the previous chart, if you focus just on the yellow line in the MACD indicator, you will see that it fluctuates above and below zero. So in majority of the instances, it has been above zero. It has been above zero, but in some instances like over here and over here, it has been below zero. What does that tell you? Well, it tells you nothing but that when the MACD line is above zero, the shorter EMA, which is the 12 EMA, is above the longer EMA, which is the 26 EMA. Similarly, when the MACD line is below zero, it tells you that the shorter EMA is below the longer EMA. So you can just visually look over here. So at this point, there was a bullish crossover, as you can see. Precisely at that point, the MACD line went from below zero to above zero. And until the point, this yellow line in the price stayed above the blue line. that is until the time the 12 period exponential moving average stayed above the 26 period moving average. If you see in the MACD indicator, you'll notice that the MACD line also stayed above zero. It went below zero when when the 12 period EMA cut below the 26 period EMA. So how to read this MACD or the yellow line in the bottom panel is that whenever the MACD line is above zero, it tells you that the shorter EMA is above the longer EMA. And whenever the MACD line is below zero, it tells you that the shorter EMA is below the longer EMA. Okay, so that is about the MACD line. Now, what about the signal line? Well, signal line is a moving average of the MACD line. Okay, and which moving average? Again, it is an exponential moving average of the MACD line. So in the previous chart, this red line is nothing but the signal line. It is nothing but an exponential moving average of the MACD line. Now, if you remember, the MACD comprises of two moving average. So the MACD line itself is a moving average. And on top of that, the signal line is the moving average of the MACD line. So put it in the simplest of words, the signal line is a moving average of another moving average, which is the MACD line. Now, what does this mean? If you look at the two lines, the MACD line, which is the yellow line, and the signal line, which is the red line, you will notice that the signal line is very smooth as compared to the MACD line. See that, the MACD line is a little volatile, especially look at the turning points, they are very choppy. On the other hand, look at the signal line, it's very smooth. Why is the signal line smooth? Because of the way it is calculated. Signal line is calculated by taking the moving average of the MACD line. So it tends to be very smooth. As the name suggests, the objective of plotting a signal line on the MACD indicator is to generate signals. So whenever the MACD line crosses above the signal line or below the signal line, a basic signal is generated, which we'll talk about later. Okay, so that was about signal line. Signal line is nothing but a moving average of the MACD line. The objective of using a signal line is to filter signals that are generated by the MACD line. Finally, histogram is nothing but the difference between the MACD line and the signal line. It is calculated as MACD line minus the signal line. So the signal line value is subtracted from the MACD value. So whenever the histogram is positive, it tells you that the MACD line is above the signal line. And whenever the histogram is negative, it tells you that the MACD line is below the signal line. Now let us understand this from the previous chart again. So if you see over here, now look at this particular point over here. At this point, the yellow line is crossing above the red line. And because the yellow line, the MACD line is crossing above the signal line over here, the histogram has turned positive. At this particular point, if you see, the MACD line cut below the signal line. And because the MACD line is cutting below the signal line, the histogram is turning negative. So whenever the histogram is positive, it tells you that the MACD line is above the signal line. And whenever the histogram is negative, it tells you that the MACD line is below the signal line. So this is all about how the MACD is constructed. Okay. MACD line is nothing but the shorter EMA minus the longer EMA. If this value is positive, it tells you that the shorter EMA is above the longer EMA and vice versa. Signal line is a moving average of the MACD line, and it is used to generate signals. Finally, histogram is the difference between the MACD line and the signal line. And if the histogram is positive, it tells you that the MACD line is above the signal line and vice versa. So these three components, MACD line, signal line, and histogram, they fluctuate above and below zero. Now, MACD, unlike other indicators like say stochastics or RSI, which are bounded indicators because they can only fluctuate between 0 and 100, MACD is unbounded. What this means is that above 0, MACD can rise to positive infinity, and below 0, MACD can fall to negative infinity. So there are no upper and lower thresholds for MACD. It's an unbounded indicator. The larger the value of the stock or the security you're looking, the larger will the values of MACD tend to be. So for instance, in this particular case, we are looking at the chart of Nifty, which has a value of around 16,000. So if you look at the MACD readings, they can be quite huge, like 200, 300, 100, etc. But if you look at a security which is priced at say 10 rupees, 9 rupees, then the MACD readings will tend to be very small. So that's how the MACD indicator is constructed. Okay. Now that we understand how the MACD indicator is constructed, let us talk about the interpretation of the MACD indicator. I see that many questions are coming in. I'll address those questions at the end. Okay, so what I'll do is, I'll address all the questions at the end. So I'll finish the presentation first, and then we'll spend some time on the real-time charts on the FIRES web. Okay, so now that we have seen how the MACD indicator is constructed, let us talk about how to interpret the MACD indicator. Okay, so let me just have a sip of water, just 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so previously we saw that whenever the MACD line is above 0, it tells you that the shorter moving average is above the longer moving average. What is the implication of that? Well, whenever the shorter moving average is above the longer moving average, the trend is bullish. So whenever the MACD line is above the 0 line, it tells you that the underlying trend is bullish. On the other hand, whenever the MACD line is below the 0 line, it tells you that the underlying trend is bearish. Why so? Think about it for a moment. Whenever the MACD line is above 0, it tells you that the shorter moving average is above the longer moving average, which is bullish, which is a bullish price action. On the other hand, whenever the MACD line is below 0, it tells you that the shorter moving average is below the longer moving average. So that's a bearish structure. So just by looking at where the MACD line is relative to the horizontal 0 line, you can say that whether the underlying trend is bullish or bearish. The next aspect is that, as you have seen so far, MACD line is not static. It keeps rising and falling. And that in itself tells you something. So when the MACD line is positive, what it tells you is that the underlying trend is bullish. On top of that, if the MACD line is also rising, it tells you that the bullish trend is strengthening, or the bullish momentum is strengthening. So when MACD line is above 0, and when the MACD line is rising, as in this case, you can see the bullish momentum is strengthening. This horizontal white line which you see over here is the 0 line. So this this horizontal white line divides bullishness from bearishness. So in this case, when the MACD line was above 0 and it was rising, it tells you that the bullish momentum or the bullish trend is strengthening. On the other hand, if the MACD line is above 0, but if it is falling, as you see in the second half of this top chart, what it tells you is that the bullish momentum is weakening. It tells you that the trend is still bullish, but just that the momentum, the velocity of that trend is weakening. Similarly, when the MACD line is below 0, we saw that that signal is bearish. Whenever the MACD line is below 0, it is bearish. Now, if the MACD line is below 0 and if it is falling, it tells you that the bearish momentum is strengthening. As you can see over here in this first half of this chart at the bottom, the MACD line went below 0 over here, and then it kept falling, telling you that the bearish momentum is strengthening and gaining in strength. On the other hand, when the MACD line is below 0 and when it is rising, it tells you that the bearish momentum is weakening. Okay. So this is the basic signal that you need to keep in mind as far as the MACD line is concerned. Whenever the MACD line is above 0, it is bullish, and whenever it is below 0, it is bearish. When MACD line is above zero and rising, it tells you that the uptrend is strengthening. And whenever the MACD line is above zero, but it is falling, it tells you that the uptrend is weakening. It is losing its pace. Similarly, whenever the MACD line is below zero and it is falling, it tells you that the downtrend is strengthening. More and more selling pressure is coming in. On the other hand, when the MACD line is below zero, but when it is rising, it tells you that the selling pressure is weakening. It tells you that the selling momentum is kind of losing its steam. So that is what you need to keep in mind about the MACD line. So coming back to this chart of Nifty, as you can see, in this particular instance, the MACD line was above zero and it was rising, which tells you that the uptrend is strengthening. Over here, the MACD line sort of turned sideways. Now, why is that happening? If you look at the security is continuing to rise, but the MACD line, the momentum has weakened. Well, to understand that, look at this part over here. Initially, the rally from the bottom was very strong. Then there was a correction. Then again, there was a very strong and swift rally at this point. After that, the rally, if you see, it started losing momentum. So the initially upthrust, which you see over here, that started to lose momentum, and the angle of the rally turned a little narrower. That caused the bullish momentum to lose a little bit of steam over here. But as you see, the trend is still positive because the MACD line is still above zero. So as long as the MACD line is above zero, you will notice that the overall uptrend is still intact. At this particular point in time, while the MACD line is still above zero, it is declining. So it tells you that the bullish momentum is weakening. So at this point in time, after this strong rally, price turned a little sideways over here, and that caused the bullish momentum to fade. Then there was a brief decline below zero. Initially, the bearish momentum strengthened, but it didn't last for long. The bearish momentum weakened again over here, and then the MACD line climbed back above zero. And ever since, the MACD line has stayed above zero, which tells you that the uptrend is intact and the security in question, which is Nifty in this case, is still in an uptrend. So that is how you interpret just the MACD line. Now let's talk about the basic signals from the MACD indicator. So typically MACD generates various type of basic signals. I have categorized them into three parts. One is traditional, second is aggressive, and third is conservative. So within traditional, you have a traditional buy sell. Within aggressive, you have an aggressive buy sell. And within conservative, you have a conservative buy sell signal. So what is a traditional buy? As I said earlier, recollect that the signal line acts as a sort of signal. Whenever the MACD line crosses the signal line, either from below or from above, a basic MACD signal is generated. So now let us understand what a traditional buy signal is. Okay, as you can see in this case, in this particular chart, this horizontal blue line is the zero line. So region below that is negative, and region below that is region above that is positive. So a traditional buy signal is generated when both the MACD line and the signal line are in positive zone, that is above zero, and then the MACD line goes on to cross above the signal line. So what is the condition? Both the MACD line and the signal line should be above zero. Remember, when the MACD line is above zero, it tells you that the shorter moving average is above the longer moving average, which is bullish. So the MACD line is above zero, and it has gone on to cross above the signal line, which is the trigger line. So basic buy signal is generated over here. Now I call it traditional because you're trading in the direction of the trend itself. Because the MACD line is above zero, the underlying trend is bullish. And because you're taking a buy signal in a bullish trend, you're trading in the direction of the trend itself. So it's a very traditional, it's a very classic buy. The opposite of this is the traditional sell signal. The condition for traditional sell signal is that both the MACD line and the signal line should be below zero. And then the MACD line should go on to cross below the signal line. Whenever the MACD line crosses from above to below the signal line, a traditional sell signal is generated. Now, this particular instance, which you can see over here, wherein the MACD line crossed below the signal line, recovered a bit, and took resistance at the signal line before turning down again. Now, this particular instance is called a swing failure, which I will discuss later in this presentation. So that is how a traditional buy and sell signal is generated. Now, let us look at what is an aggressive buy signal. Okay. An aggressive buy signal is generated when both the MACD line and the signal line are below zero, and then the MACD line goes on to cross above the signal line. So as you can see, because the MACD line is below zero, it tells you that the underlying trend is down. Why? Because when the MACD line is below zero, it tells you that the shorter term moving average is below the longer term moving average, which by default is bearish. So what is happening over here is that the MACD line is below zero, telling you that the underlying trend is bullish, but then the MACD line has gone on to cross above the signal line. So a buy signal is generated. Now, why do I call this aggressive buy? Is because you're trading against the direction of the trend. The trend is down, but you're initiating a buy signal in a downtrend. And that is why I've used the word aggressive. It's an aggressive buy. The opposite of that is an aggressive sell signal. An aggressive sell signal is generated when both the MACD line and the signal line are above zero, but then the MACD line goes on to cross below the signal line. This is nothing but whenever the MACD line goes on to cross below the signal line, when both the lines are above zero, a sell signal is generated, and it's an aggressive sell because you are shorting in a situation wherein the underlying trend is still positive. Remember, the MACD line is above zero, meaning the underlying trend is still positive. And despite that, you're initiating a short because the MACD line has crossed below the signal line. So it's an aggressive sell signal. The third variant is the conservative buy. Now, what is a conservative buy signal is that initially both the moving averages are below the zero line, that is below the horizontal zero line. An aggressive buy, as you can see, is generated over here, but you will not buy over here. Rather, you will buy when the MACD line crosses above the zero line. So what you're doing is an aggressive buy signal was generated here, but you didn't buy there. You waited to buy until the shorter moving average crossed above the longer moving average. So you waited to buy until the MACD line went above zero. So that is a conservative buy. Why is it a conservative buy? Because you're waiting for confirmation. You're waiting for the shorter moving average to cross above the longer moving average before deciding to buy. So you're buying after a significant lag. So it's a very conservative buy. Similarly, conservative sell is the opposite of that. Conservative sell occurs when the MACD line is below the signal line, and then the MACD line goes on to fall below the signal line. So as you can see, the aggressive sell signal was generated over here, but you didn't sell here. You waited for the MACD line to fall below zero, and then when the MACD line fell below zero, you took a short position. Now that's a conservative signal. Now, if you're a trader who believes in taking aggressive trades, you could be shorting somewhere over here. But if you're a trader who believes in trading conservatively, you could wait for MACD line to fall below zero before deciding to short. So it depends on the nature of the trader. So these are the three types of, these are the three basic types of signals that are generated by the MACD indicator. Number one, as you saw, is the traditional buy and traditional sell. Number two is your aggressive buy and aggressive sell. And number three is your conservative buy and conservative sell. Now, what is the difference between the traditional buy is very clear because that is how the signals are typically taken. The aggressive signals and the conservative signals are kind of opposite to each other. keep in mind that the difference between an aggressive signal and conservative signal purely boils down to risk reward trade-off. So in an aggressive signal, the advantage is that there is a potential for higher reward. Why so? Because you'll be taking the trade against the direction of the prevailing trend. So you'll be taking the trade pretty early. Because of that, there is a potential for a higher reward. So the advantage of taking an aggressive signal is that there is a potential for earning a higher reward. But the disadvantage is that because you're trading against the direction of the trend, the risk is also high. So in an aggressive signal, you have higher risk and a higher reward. For conservative signal, it's the opposite. Uh, the advantage of a conservative signal is that because you're trading in the direction of the trend, fewer signals will be generated, because of which there will be lesser whipsaws. So it's a sort of conservative signal wherein the risk is relatively less. However, the drawback of a conservative signal is that you would be initiating a trade after the move has already started. So you'll be initiating a trade when the move is already underway. So you'll be entering late. So the risk to reward can get a little unattractive, when you use a conservative signal. So that's a drawback. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of aggressive signal? Well, the advantage is that aggressive signal has a potential for higher profit, but the disadvantage is that the risk is also pretty high. On the other hand, in a conservative signal, the advantage is that the risk is relatively low, but the disadvantage is that the profit potential is also relatively low. So as you can see, there is a trade-off between executing an aggressive type of signal as well as a conservative type of signal. So these are the basic buy-sell signals that are generated by the MACD indicator. Now, keep in mind that whatever I've talked until now is just for the purpose of illustration. You should not be trading just because the MACD line has crossed above the signal line, or selling because the MACD line has crossed below the signal line. That is not the way you should trade. In fact, you should combine MACD with other studies. Now that could be trend lines, that could be Fibonacci, that could be other technical indicators, that could be moving averages on price, etc. The important thing is that you have to combine MACD with other indicators rather than trading it in isolation. So as I said, never use MACD in isolation. The six signals that I've shown so far, two of which were aggressive, two of which were conservative, and two of which were traditional, they shouldn't be taken in isolation. Rather, they should be combined with other forms of price tool. They should be combined with other price tools, or actions from the price itself. So always get into the habit of combining MACD signals with other studies and never use it in isolation. So whenever you combine MACD with other tools, and whenever all the studies that you're using is telling you to buy, now that is a very stronger buy, because the weight of the evidence suggests that the security will go higher. So whenever you trade using MACD, ensure that you combine it with other studies and deploy a weight of the evidence approach, wherein you're using at least 2 to 3 signals before initiating a trade. Now, before we get in to the charts, let me briefly say, the key uses of MACD. So whenever you're using MACD, be on the lookout for bullish and bearish divergences between MACD and price. Now, these are very powerful tools. And whenever you spot divergences between price and MACD, especially at extremes, they can provide you a lot of warning signals. The second is, earlier I talked about a concept called swing failures. Swing failures also tend to be a very powerful tool whenever you spot them. So whenever you're looking at MACD, closely observe the MACD to see whether you spot swing failures. The third is, whenever the MACD has contracted significantly. What I mean by this is, whenever the MACD line and the signal line has kind of turned horizontal, that is, they are consolidating for a prolonged period, keep a very close eye on the price of the security. It could explode in either direction, either up or down. And finally, be on the lookout for extreme MACD readings as well. So whenever you're looking at MACD, watch out for extreme highs in MACD or extreme lows. Now you do so by comparing the current reading of MACD with the previous readings, with the historical reading. So currently, if you see that the MACD line is at a very high level and it has never been at that level, say for the past several period, then you need to pay extra attention to the price action. Similarly, whenever you see MACD line is way below zero and it has never been that low for the past several period, then pay very careful attention to price, because it could presage a warning. Now, each of these we will talk about in more detail in the charts. So let us get started with the charts. Now I'll show 5 to 6 charts over here before showing you live charts on the FIRE's web platform. So again, let me just have a sip of water, just 1 minute. Okay, sorry about that. Now this is the 15-minute chart of a particular security. So here what I've done is that I've combined MACD with Fibonacci retracement. Now these horizontal lines that you see using various ratios like 0, 0.382, 0.5, 0.618, and 1. This entire tool is called Fibonacci retracement. Now what is happening over here is that after this strong rally, the price started correcting. Okay. Now here, a bullish divergence formed between the price and the MACD indicator. So in the previous slide, I talked about divergence. Now let me briefly talk about what divergence is. Now here, if you see, price is making a lower low. This low is below this low, so we have a lower low. On the other hand, MACD is making a higher low. See that this low is above this low. So we have a lower low in price, but a higher low in MACD. So what we have is a bullish divergence. It tells you that the lower low in price is not being confirmed by a corresponding lower low in MACD. So that is a bullish development. Having said that, it doesn't outrightly mean a buy. So you need to focus on how the price action unfolds going forward. So if you look at the MACD indicator, it's below zero. It crossed above the signal line over here. It came down, made a higher low, started rising from here, and then went on to break the previous high. So as you can see, the previous high is being broken over here. Now, correspondingly, if you see, nothing much is happening in price. It's just that the momentum is starting to strengthen, but there is no confirmation in price itself. The price is continuing to trade sideways. But if you look slightly forward over here, the price started rising and then went on to break above this high. So over here, you have a confirmation from the price action itself. So the MACD had already warned you that the bearish momentum is fading and the security is trying to gain bullish momentum, but no sort of confirmation was there in price within this lateral range. So you shouldn't be taking any trades over here. But at this point, if you see, price broke above this high. So if you draw a trend line from this high, you will see that a breakout occurred over here. And if you look bang low, MACD has moved into positive. So what that tells you is that the shorter moving average has moved above the longer moving average. So now the bullish signal in MACD is kind of confirmed by a breakout in price itself. So at this particular point, this high was taken out. So you could have placed a trade over here. So once you buy over here, stop losses are absolutely critical. Now, where do you place stop loss? Where this is a very important low. Why I call it important is because it is occurring near the 0.618 retracement. Now, within the parlance of Fibonacci, 0.618 is a very important Fibonacci number. So whenever price respects 0.618, you need to pay attention to it. Over here, if you see, the price took support near 0.618. It didn't start trending immediately from there. It turned sideways before starting to move higher. So when you initiated a long trade over here, you could have placed a stop loss either below this low or a few ticks below the 0.618 retracement. So that would have been a very good stop loss. Initially, after the breakout, if you see, the price declined, but it took support at the 50 or the 0.5 retracement and then bounced strongly. So this is how you could have initiated a trade. The confirmation from MACD came early, but there was no confirmation from price initially. The confirmation in price, however, came at this point when this high was broken. So you could have taken a long trade here, keeping a stop loss somewhere below this swing low or slightly below the 0.618 retracement. And then you could have rode on the rally. So this, this move worked very well. So as you can see in this instance, we have two confirmation. One is that the 0.618 retracement held firmly. Other is that there was a bullish divergence between price and MACD. So that is a warning that, a bullish divergence is a warning that the decline in price is running out of bearish momentum. And then eventually you had a long confirmation over here. So that you could have traded, keeping a stop loss below this point, and target, you could have used other tools to set the target. So that is how you could have traded this signal. This is on the 5-minute chart. Sorry. So now let us look at the 15-minute chart. This is the 15-minute chart. Over here, I've combined MACD with a price pattern. Now, as you can see, the range is contracting over here. The highs are getting lower and the lows are getting higher. What we have is a triangle sort of pattern over here. I've drawn two trend lines connecting this low with this low. And then I've drawn two trend lines. One trend line connecting this high with this high. Now, over here, if you see, the price attempted a breakdown below this trend line. So very long candle formed, and there was a significant uptick in volume. So there is a sort of strong selling pressure coming over here. And precisely at that point, if you see, the MACD also broke below this trend line. If you see in this particular instance, I've drawn a trend line connecting this low with this low and extended it into the future. At this point, if you see, the MACD line not only crossed below the signal line, but it also broke the trend line and went below zero. So we have a very strong signal over here. The breakdown in price from the lower trend line is accompanied by a breakdown in MACD below this trend line, and is also accompanied by the MACD falling below the signal line as well as going below zero. So we have a very strong sell signal over here. And as you see, this trade worked out very well. If you see, look at the volume also on breakdown, there was a significant expansion in volume. So this trade worked out very well. Now, initially after the breakdown, there was a consolidation for 4 to 5 candles. But then the security in question started falling sharply. So how could you have taken this trade? You could have gone short somewhere on the breakdown, and you could have kept a stop loss above the recent high, which is somewhere above this, and then you could have rode on the downtrend. Initially price turned sideways for 5 to 6 candles, but then there was a nice decline. Then again, what happened was that here an aggressive buy signal, was generated. Whether you act on that or not is totally up to you. Speaking of myself, I wouldn't act over here because there is not a strong confirmation from the price itself, and I don't have more evidences that I can use to confirm this aggressive buy. But nonetheless, if you're an aggressive trader, you could consider deploying a long over here if there is some sort of bullish action in the price. But let's not talk about that. What is important is that the MACD line rose along with the rise in price. Then the MACD line, if you see, it took resistance right at zero. It didn't cross above zero. So it's taking resistance at that. The price corrected again. So now what you can do is you can draw a trend line connecting the two highs in MACD. So this is one high and this is the other high. So I've drawn a trend line connecting the two highs in MACD. At this point in time, the MACD line went above the trend line. Notice that the MACD line is also above the signal line. Precisely at that point, if you see, price broke above a minor resistance. For the past several candles, this small horizontal line was acting as a resistance. Price broke above that with a healthy bullish candle. And if you notice, there is a very nice expansion in volume as well. So you have a good confirmation over here. What is happening is that you have a breakout in MACD, wherein the MACD is breaking above this downward sloping trend line and then showing good momentum. And then along with that, you have a breakout in price and you have a very nice expansion in volume. So this was a very nice signal that was generated over here. You could have bought on following the break of this small horizontal trend line. And again, you could have kept a stop loss below the most recent low, which is at this point. So you could have kept a stop loss somewhere over here. And then if you see, the price worked very well. It rose very well. At this point in time, if you see, you have a traditional buy over here because the MACD line is crossing above the signal line, and that signal is occurring when both the lines are above zero. So you have a traditional buy. So at this point in time, if you draw a trend line connecting this high with this high and extend it forward, you will see that the trend line was broken somewhere over here. And that is precisely when the MACD gave a traditional buy signal. So another buy signal could have been generated over here. And as you saw, following the breakout, there was no looking back. The price rallied sharply. So one thing that I would like to highlight from this chart and the previous chart is that do get into the habit of using trend lines, not only on price, but even on the indicator itself, in this particular case on MACD. So whenever you use a trend line on price and an indicator such as MACD in this case, it can work beautifully. So do get into the habit of drawing trend lines on the indicator also. People normally don't draw trend lines in indicators, but I would suggest you do that because beautiful signals could be generated whenever, an action in price is confirmed by an action in the indicator. So do get into the habit of drawing trend lines, not only on price, but even on the indicator itself. They can generate excellent signals. Okay, now let's dig into a slightly longer time frame. This is the hourly time frame. Okay, now initially, if you see, for several candles, price was in a very consolidation trend. It was neither trending up nor was it trending down. The only encouraging fact over here was that the lows were getting higher, which kind of tells you that the demand is coming in at higher and higher levels. So it is a sort of bullish development because the lows are getting higher. However, if you look at the MACD, it is blatantly horizontal. Earlier, if you remember, I had talked about be on the lookout for, let me go back, be on the lookout for solid contraction in MACD, which is what happened over here. For several hours, MACD was pretty horizontal. You can draw a trend line connecting these two highs and extend it into the future. Now, initially, as you see, for several hours, remember, this is the hourly chart. So for several hourly candles, price was not doing anything, just that the lows were getting higher. So it was putting you on a buy alert mode. And then you have a breakout over here. You have a healthy bullish candle here. And on the following candle, price broke above the upper trend line. Also do notice that the volume has expanded pretty nicely. Initially, if you see, the volume was very lackluster, but when this breakout was occurring, volume was very nice. If you look further lower, you will also see that this breakout in price was confirmed by a breakout in the MACD indicator itself. Not only was the MACD and the signal line above zero, but the MACD line was above signal line, and then the MACD line went on to break above this trend line. So you have several, weight of the evidence, signals coming over here. You have a breakout in price. You have a healthy expansion in volume. You have MACD and signal line both above positive. You have MACD line above the signal line, and finally you have MACD line going to cross on above the trend line. So because of these confluence of factors, a long position could be taken over here. And as you see, there was a nice move that unfolded. Then over here, if you see, price went on to rally. Okay, it fell from there. And again, it started rallying. If you notice, there is a double top sort of pattern over here. Now, exactly when a double top sort of pattern happened over here, wherein the price made two identical highs, if you notice here, the MACD is making a lower high. Now, notice that price is making an identical high, but MACD is making a lower high. So what you have is a bearish divergence. This is the opposite of bullish divergence, which we saw earlier. In a bearish divergence, the price makes a higher high or a horizontal high. But on the other hand, the technical indicator MACD in this case makes a lower high. So you have a bearish divergence. So that's a warning that maybe the uptrend is running into trouble. So you need to be on the lookout. Price made a lower here, rallied, made an identical high, then started coming down. And then there was a very big red candle that formed over here. That red candle was so big that it went on to break below this intervening low. Now, if you look at the MACD, what happened back then was that a bearish crossover was generated wherein the MACD line fell below the signal line. And then over here, this is what I talked about is called a swing failure. So see that MACD fell below signal line. It rose a bit from there, but it did not break above the signal line, and it clearly failed to surpass its previous high. So what we have is a swing failure in MACD. So what is happening in this particular instance is that you have a double top in price, and then the price went on to break below the intervening low, that is the neckline, this small horizontal line which you see over here. So you have a breakdown in price, you have a bearish divergence in MACD, you have a bearish crossover. Now this is an aggressive sell because a sell signal is generated when both MACD line and signal line are above zero, and then MACD line is going to cross below the signal line. So you have an aggressive sell, and finally you also had a swing failure. So you had several confluences occurring over here, and as you see, following the breakdown, there is a little bit of consolidation in price, but then on the following day, price just gapped down. So there was a subsequent rally from lows. The gap was almost filled, but price never really materialized to go higher. So this sell signal worked very well. Again, see how the weight of the evidence approach is played out over here. You had several confluences. You had double top breakdown in price. You had bearish divergence in MACD. You had swing failure in MACD, and you had an aggressive sell signal in MACD. So these 4 or 5 signals worked very well. And this was an excellent shorting opportunity. If you had shorted somewhere over here, you could have kept a stop loss above the most recent price high, which is here, and then gone on to hold on to your short position. So that is how you could have traded the short signal. Let us quickly look at a few more charts. Now here we go a step higher and look at a slightly longer time frame chart, the daily chart. Very similar chart to what we saw previously. So, after a rally, there was a consolidation. If you look at the MACD, it was in a range sort of, it was in a lateral range. And then going forward in time, if you see, there was a breakout of this trend line. So I've drawn a trend line connecting this high of MACD with this high of MACD and extended it into the future. So here, if you see, there is a breakout. Not only is the trend line being broken, but if you see, the MACD line is also going above the signal line. Okay, over here, an aggressive buy signal is generated, and over here, MACD line went on to cross above the zero line. So you have a few confluences over here. You have a breakout of trend line. You have MACD line crossing above the signal line. So you have an aggressive buy, and then you have MACD line crossing above zero over here. However, as I said, you should never act until a signal is generated from the price itself. So although MACD line is giving you bullish indications, if you see price is not doing anything, so there is no breakout in price, it's still in a very lackluster range. However, that breakout came over here. So well after the MACD had generated a buy signal, the actual buy signal in price came over here. So this is a point wherein you could have initiated a long trade. So you could have initiated a long trade over here. The stop loss for this trade could be placed somewhere over here. Again, it depends on your risk appetite, because mind you, this is the daily chart. If you keep stop loss below this low, your stop loss will tend to be pretty big. So for instance, if you see the buy signal was generated somewhere around 3,100. So if you keep a stop loss below this low, you will be keeping a stop loss at around somewhere around 2,900. So it's a pretty big stop. So if your risk appetite is big, if you are expecting a big move in the security, then that stop loss is fine. Otherwise, you could keep a slightly conservative stop. So for in this instance, if you see for 3 or 4 candles, this low is not breaking. So once you initiate a buy somewhere over here, you could have kept a stop loss below these candles. So that would have been a very small stop loss. And as we can see, after the breakout, the security never turned back and it continued moving higher. So this trade worked very well. You could also look at volume activity on this breakout. There is an expansion in volume. So you had multiple signals over here. You had a breakout in price, you had an expansion in volume, and bullish signals were already indicated by MACD several candles beforehand itself. So this is, you know, this trade worked well. Finally, I love using MACD with classical price patterns. Over here, the price pattern that I've shown is something that is called a falling wedge. If you want to learn about price patterns, I've covered them in FIRE School of Stocks. I've extensively spoken about price patterns. So you could refer to FIRE School of Stocks. So what is happening over here is, if you see price is making a lower low, but MACD is sort of making a horizontal low. So the decline in price is not accompanied by a fresh decline in MACD. And then if you see, MACD went on to cross above its immediate high. So this high is surpassed over here. Precisely at that point, price went on to break above the upper trend line of this falling wedge pattern. So a buy signal from price came over here, and that signal was confirmed by the MACD as well, wherein an aggressive buy was generated by MACD, and then the MACD line went on to break above its previous high. So you have a buy in price confirmed by a buy in the MACD indicator over here. And finally, this is the last of the chart that we'll be talking about before going to real-time charts. Let me first talk about this instance. So initially price was in a horizontal range. If you see, the highs were getting lower. So that is a sort of action that selling is coming in at lower levels. So that's bearish. But the lows were defended very strongly. If you see this low, this low, this low held pretty strongly. So the support was very strong. But eventually that support broke over here. So this horizontal line was broken on the emergence of this candle. And if you notice, it was also accompanied by a breakdown in MACD itself. Not only is MACD below zero, but if you see, the MACD broke below the trend line. So this is a trend line connecting this low with this low. It was broken over here. So the breakdown in price was accompanied by a breakdown in the MACD indicator as well. So that was a very strong sell. Finally, over here in this leg of decline, price made a lower low. But if you look at MACD, it is making a higher low. So what is happening is a lower low in price not confirmed by MACD. So you have a bullish divergence. Later on, if you see, MACD went on to give an aggressive buy signal over here. At the same time, price went on to break above the upper trend line of the falling wedge pattern. So as you can see, after that, this is the weekly time frame chart. So the security rallied sharply before coming down again. In a similar fashion, once a new low was made, this low was broken at this point, but the selling pressure never really materialized. Price became sideways, and then price sort of made a higher low and went on to break above this low. At the same time, another aggressive buy was generated in MACD. So an aggressive buy in MACD was confirmed by a minor breakout in price, and the underlying trend unfolded very well. So essentially, this is how you can combine each of the 6 signals that we spoke earlier along with other price tools. So in the 6 charts that I showed previously, I spoke about trend lines, I spoke about Fibonacci. I have not shown other technical indicators over here just to keep things simple, but you can deploy other technical indicators as well, such as RSI, Bollinger Bands, whatever you're comfortable with. So you can use other indicators. The objective is that the more evidence you deploy, the greater will be the conviction to trade. So just don't trade because an aggressive buy is generated over here. No, that is the wrong way of trading, but rather look to see what the price is doing. Now, why this aggressive buy was a good signal was because we had a bullish divergence in MACD, we had an aggressive buy over here, and then we had price breaking above the upper trend line. So what we had was a triple confirmation. Rather than just blindly trading on this aggressive buy, we are trading it with 2 other signals, namely bullish divergence and a breakout in price itself. do remember that ultimately price is the king. You should only act when an actual signal is generated in the price itself. Trade should be initiated only when the price itself generates some sort of signal, either buy or sell. So that is how you can use. You can also combine MACD signals generated by MACD with candlestick patterns. MACD and candlestick patterns combination tends to work very well. So do get into the habit of deploying MACD with Japanese candlestick patterns also. Okay, now let us quickly talk about things that you need to keep in mind. Okay, first and foremost thing to keep in mind is that MACD is a trend following indicator. Never ever use MACD in a market that is consolidating. So if a particular market is in a sideways zone, never use MACD. A lot of false signals would be generated and you'll just keep entering and exiting trades and lose your money. So never trade MACD in a sideways market. MACD is a trending indicator and it must always be used in a trending market only. So whenever you use MACD, ensure that the market, the security in question is either in an uptrend or in a downtrend, or either that you expect the security to trend going forward. Second is that MACD is unbounded and lagging. As I said, MACD can go to positive infinity above zero, as well as it can go to negative infinity below zero. So it's unbounded on either side, unlike say RSI or stochastics, which are bounded between 0 and 100. RSI and stochastics, for instance, can neither go below zero nor can they go above 100. MACD, on the other hand, is unbounded. Also, MACD, as I said, because it uses moving averages in its calculation, it is a lagging indicator and not a leading indicator. So the signals generated by MACD will usually be lagging. I already said that MACD should only be used in trending markets and should never be used in sideways market. As I said, never use MACD in isolation. Always combine it with other tools and studies such as trend lines, channels, Fibonacci retracements and extensions, technical indicators, Japanese candlestick patterns, etc. Ultimately, the decision to buy or sell must only be made when there is a confirmation from price itself. So until the price confirms a breakout or a breakdown, never trade just because an indicator is giving a buy or a sell signal. Never do that. You only trade when there is a confirmation from price itself. Again, goes without saying, signals generated by MACD are not foolproof. Not all signals will be 100% accurate. Some signals will fail, some will work out very well. So it depends on how well accustomed you are to the MACD indicator. And last but not the least, or arguably I would say the most important thing when trading, is that whenever you trade and use MACD, or for that matter any other technical indicator, stop losses are an absolute must. Whenever entering a trade, you must know what will be your stop loss. Never enter a trade without knowing what your stop loss is. The reason is, in case the trade doesn't pan out as expected, you must know a level where you'll cut your losses and exit your trade. So stop losses are an absolute must. Risk management is absolutely critical. So that is all that I wanted to talk about MACD in this presentation. Now, what let us do is that let us go to a live chart. So one moment. Let me share. Okay. So so this is this is, sorry about that. So this is the website that I was talking about, FIRE's School of Stocks. You can either Google it, or you can put in this URL into a web browser. So we have covered various modules. As you can see, 9 modules are complete. We are ongoing with 10th module. Within technical analysis also, we have covered several chapters. If you wanna learn technical analysis, then this is the place to be. If you want to learn how moving averages are calculated, if you go to the 4th chapter, there I've talked about how moving averages are calculated. So let me just quickly show you. So so this is the moving average section. I've talked about simple moving average, weighted moving average and exponential moving average, and how exponential moving average is calculated I've explained over here. So if you want to refer to that, you can do that. So going back, this is our online stock market portal for learning. So feel free to visit School of Stocks whenever you want to. Let me go to the chart now. This is our FIRE's web platform. If you want to plot MACD, all that you need to do is just click on the indicator section over here, which reads FX. You can either search MACD or you can just type MACD and select that. Okay, so this is how the MACD indicator looks like. In my presentation, I put in the yellow color. You can change the color if you want to. In order to change the settings of MACD, you can either double click on one of the two MACD lines, or you can select the settings over here. You can change the color if you want. So for instance, MACD in my presentation, I had kept yellow. So let me choose yellow. If you want, you can even remove one of histograms or say signals, etc., signal line, etc., if you don't want. And the default reading for MACD, as I said, is 12.26.9, where 12 and 26 are the calculations that go into the MACD line. Remember, MACD line is nothing but the 12 period EMA minus the 26 period EMA, and the signal line is nothing but the 9 period EMA of the MACD line. So you can change the settings if you want to. If you increase the readings, let me just, for instance, double. So let me select this is 24. Let me make this 52, and let me make this 18. So what will happen is that the MACD will become very smooth. So fewer signals would be generated by increasing, these default settings. Again, let me reset to default. So now you see that there are more signals that are generated by MACD. So that is how a MACD indicator looks like. Talking about Nifty, now this is the daily chart of the Nifty 50 index. As you can see, MACD line has been trading above zero for quite some time. So the MACD line has been above zero since this point over here. So the bullish momentum strengthened over here. Here you had a sort of bearish crossover. You have an aggressive sell signal over here, but if you see, nothing much happened in price. Let me just draw a trend line. So if you see, price entered a lateral band over here. So there's a sort of lateral band, or you can even call it a sort of a rectangle pattern, whatever you want to call it. So price became very sideways over here. It's consolidating within a range. But over here, if you see at this point, if you can see it clearly, a buy signal was generated. This is a traditional buy because MACD line and signal line are both above zero. And then MACD line is going on to cross above the signal line. So a buy signal was generated just a day before the price broke out. So price broke out on this candle, while buy signal was generated precisely on the day of price breakout actually. So see, what is happening is you have a confirmation, a breakout in price is being accompanied by a traditional buy signal in MACD. So, you have a dual confirmation. MACD is indicating a buy, Nifty is breaking out above its previous high or above its consolidation zone. And then we had a very nice, 3-day rally. So this buy signal in MACD that confirmed the breakout and price worked out very well. So this is something that I was, keeping an eye on over, over the past few days. Similarly, you can, let me just select, say for instance, let me just select the Nifty small cap 100 index. So we had a very powerful uptrend in the small cap index. In fact, if you see, ever since the market bottomed out last year, the MACD line has always been above zero. Never did MACD line go below zero. So it indicates that the short-term momentum is very, very strong as the MACD line has stayed above zero. Then over here, if you see, there is a sort of you know a divergence sort of. The Nifty small cap index is making a higher high, but MACD is not made a higher high. So you have a divergence. Now, just because you have a divergence doesn't mean that you should be, going out and selling. If you look at the trend of the small cap index, it's still very strong. There is no sell signal whatsoever generated in the small cap index by itself. So still the trend is very strong, but still this, this is something that you need to focus on because there is a divergence in price. Maybe going forward, we could expect some correction in the small cap index until these highs are held. But again, as I said, there is no signal, there is no sell signal from the small cap index itself. So you should not be, blindly selling just because, just because there is a divergence in MACD. Over here, if you see, if you look at the MACD after a strong rally, it kind of consolidated over here. What that tells you is that divergence is building. But if you see, no confirmation came from price. The price was in a very powerful uptrend, despite sort of divergences coming in. Over here, however, there was a minor sell-off that came in, but that was very minor. The overall trend in this particular case is very strong. So every decline is is being absorbed very well by the market. And you must also remember that MACD has always stayed above the zero line. So it tells you that the momentum is very strong. Then we can even look at some stocks. For instance, let me just select. Recently, I just spotted a signal in Bharti Airtel. So let me just put Bharti Airtel. Let me just draw a trend line. So this trend line, if you see, so what had happened in case of Bharti Airtel was that, the highs were getting lower and the lows were getting higher. So there was a significant contraction in volatility, as you can see. The price range just got smaller and smaller and smaller. Eventually, here a sort of breakout occurred. Now, if you look at MACD indicator, it was below zero. It was sideways for a prolonged period. As I said, whenever the MACD becomes very sideways, keep a very close eye on it. A powerful move could be about to unfold. So what happened over here was that MACD was very flattish, price was very flattish. Then there was a breakout of this triangle pattern, and MACD also moved above zero. So after a long time, MACD and the MACD line is starting to come above zero. So you have a buy signal that the MACD generated, and that buy signal in MACD was also confirmed by a corresponding buy in the price itself because it was breaking above the upper trend line. So you had a dual confirmation in case of Bharti Airtel. You had a breakout in price and MACD, starting to trend following a prolonged period of very narrow consolidation. And as you see, the underlying move was very swift and powerful. So that is why I see again, whenever the MACD becomes very range bound, keep a very close eye on the price because the unfolding move could be very quick and powerful. So that is how you can use MACD. Then let us talk about, for example, Asian Paints, which has been in a very powerful uptrend. So let me just plot the chart of Asian Paints. Again, if you remember from our presentation, I talked about, whenever MACD posts an extreme reading, either when it rises way above zero as compared to the previous readings, or when it falls way below zero as compared to previous readings, be on the lookout because it could indicate a warning. So if you look at Asian Paints over here, so it was in a very powerful uptrend. However, look at this particular point. The MACD reading got extremely high. So if you look at the previous historical readings, never had MACD reached such a high level for the past several months combined. So this was a very extreme high reading, and that in itself was followed by a very swift correction sort of profit booking in Asian Paints as well. So again, what I say over here is that whenever the MACD reading gets too high, it could indicate it could indicate a sort of reversal. It puts you on an alert mode. So whenever a MACD reading gets too high, pay careful attention to what the price action would do going forward. So yeah, so that is how you can use the MACD indicator. Again, in Fires, on our Fires web platform, we have various tools to draw a trend line. We have various types of trend lines that you can draw. If you want to plot Fibonacci retracement, Fibonacci extension, etc., you can plot it from this pane. So for example, let us say, let me just plot. So let us say price rallied from this point, the uptrend started, and it culminated at this point. So assuming the market is somewhere over here, if I want to find out, how much the correction could be, I could use Fibonacci retracement. So if I just plot the Fibonacci retracement from this low and connect it to this high, various Fibonacci ratios would be plotted. Of these, as I said, 61.8% is very powerful. So Fibonacci ratios in an uptrend, Fibonacci ratios can be used to identify supports. In this particular case, price never corrected till 61.8. It stopped midway between 38.2 and 50. So if you notice, the 38.2% retracement acted as a good support for several days. Only on one instance, the 38.2% retracement broke over here, but for several days, 38.2% retracement acted as a very strong support. And if you notice, there is a sort of divergence forming between price. See that the MACD has made a slightly higher lower here. Price made a lower, a lower lower here. So you have a divergence. Then you had price taking good deal of support near 38.2, and eventually what happened was that price went on to break above this trend line at this point. And by that time, if you see, the MACD had also given a buy signal. So this is how you can combine, say, Fibonacci with candlestick patterns, divergences, MACD, etc., when making trading decisions. So yeah, so that is all that I had to say in this webinar. So let me go back to my PDF presentation slide. Okay. So I would just like to add that from my part it is over. Now I'll be free to take Q&A. I see that actually there are a lot of questions, so it is difficult for me to address so many questions. I see that there are more than 100 questions. So what I'll do is I'll give you my Twitter ID. My Twitter handle is @AB Chinchalkar. So you can whatever questions you have relating to MACD, or whatever questions you have relating to today's presentations, or for that matter to any aspect of technical analysis, you can just send me a message on my Twitter handle, which is @AB Chinchalkar, and I'll be very quick to respond to your questions. For the shortage of time, I see that there are more than 100 queries, so it's difficult for me to answer all of these. So I'd be happy to take your questions offline. Whatever queries you have, you can ask me on my Twitter handle. So what I would say is, this recording of today's presentation would be very shortly uploaded on our YouTube channel of Fires. So within, say, the next 2 to 3 days, we'll upload the recording on our YouTube channel. If you feel like visiting the recording again, feel free to do so. If you have any questions whatsoever, you can send me a message on my Twitter handle @AB Chinchalkar, and I would be very happy to respond. So that's it from my end, and I wish every one of you a very happy weekend and happy Independence Day in advance. And I hope to see each and every one of you very soon. I'll announce the date for my next webinar pretty soon. Thank you so much for attending this webinar. I hope that I have helped you in gaining a little bit of understanding about MACD. Thank you so much.